The backlash to Yu Jinghyuk's one-sided notification was enormous. Why are you deciding so arbitrarily? Jung Hee-won shouted first after Yu Jinghyuk. We will depart in 3 days. Until then, increase your rankings. If he says that and goes away, should we just roll over and listen? He should have said that when talking to me. Does Dokshishi want that? Nope. Jung Hee-won was still very spirited. I said, even so, there's a higher probability of surviving if you do as Yu Jinghyuk says. Dokshishi, whose side are you on? I glanced at Yu Jinghyuk in the distance, shrugged, and smiled. First of all, it's nice to see all of you. This is the third resurrection. The people who were frozen by Yu Jinghyuk's words smiled awkwardly. Lee Gil-young and Shin Yu-sung stuck to my legs while Lee Hyung-sung nodded with a slightly gloomy expression. Congrats on your resurrection. It's already been a few times, but I'm getting used to it. It would be sad if you got used to it. First of all, let's get organized. These were the words that Yu Jinghyuk one-sidedly gave. There are 2 teams, my team and Kim Dokja's team. 4 people will be arranged for each team. My team will consist of Lee Hyung-sung, Gong Pil-do, Lee Ji-hee, and Lee So-hwa. It is the 4 of them. Kim Dokja's team will be Jung Hee-won, Shin Yu-sung, Lee Gil-young, and Yu Sung-ah. It is another 4. In the end, the configuration was similar to the main party up to now. It meant the companions I had participated in the scenarios with so far would challenge the 10th scenario. Perhaps he was being considerate of me, or it might be more comfortable for him. The latter was more likely when thinking about Yu Jinghyuk's personality. Everyone involved didn't have big complaints about the lineup itself, but Lee Hyung-sung was slightly sullen. I wanted to be on Dokjishi's team. The teams don't matter since we're all going together. Yes. I patted Lee Hyung-sung's shoulder and turned towards the rest of the party members. The first one to catch my eye was Yu Sung-ah. So many things happened that it felt strange to meet her eyes. After a moment, Jung Hee-won poked my side. What is it? Do you want her to wear a Chinese dress and garter belt? Are you still thinking about that? It was very shocking. We named it the Kim Dokja garter belt incident. By the way, I won't wear that even if I die. I don't want you to wear it. Then Lee Ji-hee raised her hand. I'm willing to put on a good performance. SSS grade. Stop playing around. I can wear that if it had a good performance. Hyun-sung-shi, why? Soldiers don't care about the equipment. I wanted to say that he was using his military spirit in the wrong way when I heard a message from Uriel. The constellation, Demon-like Judge of Fire, says that the constellation who made the garter belt was a man. Was this a joke? Damn it. Furthermore, a constellation? The constellation, Queen of the Darkest Spring, smiles and said that she will invite him once more. Come to think of it, this situation was due to Persephone. I would have to argue with her if I ever went back to the underworld. At this point, what's everyone's ranking? For reference, you all know that you have to be within the top 10 to proceed. The party members replied in turn. The first was Jung Hee-won. I am 4th. I got the ranking from Grandmother Lee Bok-sung. Hyung! Shin Yu-sung and I are both 8th and 9th. I'm higher than Shin Yu-sung. I'm 5th. Gong Pil-do-shi has gone to raise his rankings. There's also Han Soo-young-shi. I forgot about Han Soo-young. Yu Sung asked like she had read my thoughts. Han Soo-young wasn't on the list. Are you going to leave her behind? Nope. I'll take her. Han Soo-young's quite helpful. I see. Yu Sung smiled weakly once she heard about Han Soo-young. The other party members still didn't know she was the first apostle. Yu Sung didn't like lying, so she was in a bad mood every time Han Soo-young was mentioned. I didn't know when there would be a chance to tell the story. Jung Hee-won listened on the side and opened her mouth. A total of 10 people can go up. How will you take on Soo-young-shi? In principle, only 10 people can go. However, there's a hidden piece. Among the items available in the Dark Castle, there's one called the 6-man card. This way, non-team members can participate in the next scenario. It's a hidden piece. Is there anything else you want to tell us? I think we need to know what the next scenario's about. You and Yu Jinghyuk are always whispering together. Whispering together? That expression is a bit uncomfortable. The constellation, Demon-like Judge of Fire, has a runny nose. Jung Hee-won smiled at me. Then please tell me. Kim Dokja-shi, show me that you're different from Yu Jinghyuk-shi. I looked around and saw the party members watching me like they were grandchildren waiting for their grandmother's fairy tale. If I was a streamer, I would tell a plausible story about a mighty person who lived once upon a time. However, I was Kim Dokja, not Kim Jaka. The translator's note, Jagka, writer. Have you ever heard of an existence called a Demon King? Demon King. The party members glanced at each other at the unexpected words. What? The King of Demons? Is there such a thing? I know! It comes out all the time in anime. I nodded at Lee Gil-young's words. It's roughly similar. It was a bit different in the setting of Ways of Survival, but the main point was explained. The 10th scenario is one where we fight against the Demon King. Lee Hyung-sung nodded. Dokubis, returnees, tentacled monsters? Certainly, now it's time for a Demon King to come out. Listening Lee Ji, he asked, Isn't a Demon King too strong? The Demon Marquise was already really high. How strong will a Demon King be in comparison? I thought for a moment before answering. A constellation grade. There was a saying in Ways of Survival about the Demon Kings. They were constellations who hadn't ascended. Literally, the Demon Kings were constellations attached to the world. Lee Ji-hee paled. Then how will we kill it? Or are you and Master gonna kill it? No, this time we will all kill it. Can we do it? If we all fight together, we can. It was pure luck that Yu Jung-hyuk and I defeated the Outer God. Such a thing won't occur twice. Still, don't worry. It is true that a Demon King is as strong as a constellation, but the one upstairs isn't that strong. Then, I hesitated for a second. I didn't want to tell them too much information at once. The information wasn't just about the Demon Kings, but also about the constellations of the star stream. I thought about it before deciding to tell them through the group chat. I will tell you. Then a voice was heard from the air, as if he knew my worries. Everyone, it's been a long time. You don't know how frustrated I've been when I wasn't able to tell you. Are you ready for this scenario? It was Bi-hyung. In the original star stream, only 72 people were recognized as Demon Kings. They had modifiers like the constellations and governed different kingdoms in the demon world. It might not be equivalent to a nebula, but there were still those who led forces. They laughed at the constellations who clung to the glory of a constellation and remained on the land that even the Dokubis abandoned. Was that why? The constellations hated the Demon Kings as much as the Outer Gods, and this Dark Castle scenario was made considering the tendencies of such constellations. They watched the incarnations fight and kill the Demon King. In short, it was a scenario made to be refreshing to the constellations. Please, I'm not going. After 3 days, I found Han Soo-young hiding in the periphery of the Dark Castle. I wouldn't have found her if I hadn't purchased the rope of restraint and searched for life items from the Dokubi bag. Han Soo-young shouted, I won't fight. I'll just wait here and go out when you clear the scenario. You have to go. I don't want to fight the Demon King. The 73rd Demon King is a pushover. Don't you already know that? As I mentioned earlier, only 72 people were recognized as a Demon King in the Star Stream. However, the title of this scenario was the 73rd Demon King. In other words, the guy on the above floor wasn't a formal king. He's still a Demon King, but he isn't as strong as the narrative grid constellations I've met so far. It's worth fighting. The difficulty might have changed. Hasn't it changed once or twice already? The Dokubis can't change the main scenario difficulty. That is the jurisdiction of the Star Stream. Don't you think the Dokubis are dangerous? Have you already forgotten what happened 3 days ago? It wasn't unusual for Han Soo-young to think like this. She was the person who knew the development of the original novel. If we continue with the scenarios, the whole group will soon be wiped out. You know that the Nebula are aiming at you. I know. That's why I'm well prepared. Prepared? No, how are you prepared? Do you know what will happen in the next scenario? We arrived at the camp and I pointed to the party members without speaking. They were training in a formation. They assumed there was a virtual enemy and practiced skills linkage in combination with changing the formation. Gil-young and Yu-sung, go back. Yu-sung Ashi, go forward and take care of it. Understood. The calm and coordinated attacks of the party members couldn't be compared with the past. The party members' damage overlapped and they attacked based on the enemy's attack radius. Han Suyang opened her mouth as she closely watched the scene. Is that the Demon King patterns analysis? I nodded. Yes. How much? Almost everything. It wasn't impossible. I had ways of survival and the database piled up by Yu Jung-hyuk, who fought the 73rd Demon King. Furthermore, Yu Jung-hyuk had fought the 73rd Demon King in the second round. Practical experience and theoretical knowledge combined forces, so it wasn't impossible to clear the next scenario. Han Suyang made a sad expression and sighed. You really are a crazy person.